Hi, my name is Lori Zuber. I'm the technologist here for the Cannabis program. Essentially, I take care of the Cannabunker here. So I take care of all the plants, the lighting, environmentals, and when the students come back, they'll be helping me take care of all the plants. Right now we're standing in our veg room, our mother room, so we'll be taking cuttings from all of these plants here, propagating and starting our new crop for the season. Right now these plants are actually under 18-hour daylight hour, just to keep them in vegetative mode, and then we will flip them to flower by putting them under 12 hours of light. Right now you see our lights are in the view mode, so they're white, so it's easier on our eyes, but when we leave we turn the lights on and then we get that lovely pink glow of lights. And we have right now currently growing 7 different cultivars of cannabis, which is quite fun. So we get to see how each one grows. They all have different characteristics, different flowers. So it is quite interesting actually to see all the different cultivars and how they are all different. Just some of their different nutrient needs, flowering, lighting needs. And then now we're going to go into our flowering room. These plants right now have already been in 7 weeks of flower. So yeah, so right now this is we call this room 1. So this room is actually 2 sea cans, 20 foot long, that have been seamed together. So the side walls have been cut out, so we have a larger room here. We've got 2 benches that we essentially will fill with plants come September when the students come back. It's nice because they are rolling benches, so that gives us some extra space to work. Each bench has its own fertilizer tank, so we can adjust nutrients as needed depending on what we are growing on that bench and what media we're growing in. Yeah, so here in the Cannabis program we got a lot of cool toys to play with. So we've got our Mettler scale. This we actually use to weigh out a lot of our nutrients, so the students will actually be mixing all of the separate elemental salts to make up the nutrient fertilizer solution. So they will learn how to make up a very specific fertilizer solution for the plants. So this is, very precise scale. We also got, it's called a Groden Grow Sense. So what this does is we actually can stick it into our rock wool cubes that we have, and it actually gives us the EC and the moisture level content of our plants, so of the media of the plants. So it gives us a good idea as to how to steer our plant with either more or less water, or we have to maybe up the EC of our fertilizer a little bit more, or lower the EC of the fertilizer for just whatever is best for the plant. So that's an amazing tool for the students to use because they can track the progress of that plant and the soil media all the way through. And we also have a light meter. So this is actually our LiCor light meter. So what we can do is when we turn our lights on, we can actually check and see how bright, how dark our lights actually are. So it's actually, it's a pretty cool tool again too. So the students can kind of see what the intensity of the light spectrums are. All the individual spectrums are white or blue or red light. And they can also do the PPFD, so essentially how strong our light is and how much light the plants are receiving on their canopy. And of course we always use microscopes. We have lots of different microscopes that we'll use to look at insects, pests, disease. We also look at the flower trichome development, so we'll take flowers off during the whole process of the plant growth and just just kind of look at the different trichome development. Are they starting to get milky or cloudy? Are they starting to turn amber? Have they gone too far? And that helps us determine the best time to harvest the plants. And then up here, you can see we've got a couple photos. So this is kind of one photo that we have taken of our trichome development. So we do use the TV a lot too, so then everybody can kind of see what's going on, and even with insects as well. So we can kind of put everything up on the TV for the students, so not everybody's having to hover around 1 or 2 microscopes. It can be put up on the screen for everyone to see. These are all of our plant production batch forms. So everything within this bunker, everything in the facility needs to be tracked. Everything we do needs to be tracked. So everything gets recorded in here. So if we ever add nutrients to our tank, we have to track that we've added nutrients. If we add water, we have to track what water we've added. If we take like a leaf off of one plant, we have to record that leaf that we've taken off. We have to weigh it and record it. So everything is tracked, everything has to be recorded. Yeah, it's a very, it's very regimented, and there's definitely specific protocols. So we have a lot of different SOPs that the students will have to follow. So we'll let the students, we'll look over all those SOPs, they'll read it so they'll know all the specific protocols that they do have to follow in the facility. Just to show you, I don't know if you, but this is actually our environmental system. So right now we know exactly what our temperatures are in our rooms, what our humidity is, CO2 levels, light levels, everything. So we can change these parameters at any time we want. We also have alarms set on this, so if any of these settings go outside of the parameters, I'll get an email alert telling me, hey, your humidity's too high or anything like that, so that I can address that problem accordingly. And then this is our the LumiGrow, so we have LumiGrow lights in here. Right now, essentially our lights are all in view mode. So view mode is the white lights that you see here. It's just a little bit easier on the eyes. But right now we'll switch it over to the grow mode, and then we'll get that lovely pink hue. So as you can see right now, we have a wonderful pink glow. So essentially, these are all the different light spectrums that the plants do need to grow. So it helps with photosynthesis. And on here, I believe right now we're running like 90% red light, 10% white, and I believe 60 or 70% blue. So it's nice in here, we can adjust the light spectrums any way we want. So depending on the stage of plant growth that the plant is in, we can adjust the lights accordingly. So typically when the plants are in veg, we would have a higher blue light ratio, and then when we do flip them to flower, we'll have a higher red light ratio. And the students will learn all about that in the program. We'll talk about different light spectrums and how the plants absorb them, and yeah, so you can see the different light spectrums, so how high our red, how low the blue is. So these are all tools that the students will use, and it'll definitely be helpful for them when they go out into the workforce, into these different LPs.
Are these tools industry standard?
Typically, yeah, they would have a lot of these tools within the LPs, yeah. Yep, a lot of them they will have sensors, so even here above your heads, we do have a sensor in here, and that goes with our environmental system as well. So a lot of them will have kind of built-in sensors with their environmental systems. Yeah, but a lot of them too, they go around, they'll have CO2, like handheld CO2 sensors. They'll go into the grow rooms daily, take a couple of readings a day. Same with the light sensors, they'll go into the grow rooms, take a couple of readings a day. Yep, just to make sure they are where they should be. Yep. Oh yeah, so we'll be, so the students will definitely use the LiCor light meter to measure the different light levels in the room. And the students are always free, we'll play around with the different light spectrums, things like that. But yeah, the students can definitely use this. They can check the spectrum, so it's easy as just holding it under the light. Typically you would hold it at the canopy height of the plant, press the button, it takes a reading, and then it tells you exactly what our spectrum is in this room right now. So you can see we have fairly low blue, we have a fairly high red spectrum right now, which is typically what we would want during flowering. So it is kind of cool. This way the students have experience with a lot of these tools when they go out into the industry as well. Because a lot of these LPs will be using tools like the spectrometers, they might be using CO2 meters as well, so they'll be going into the grow rooms, taking these different measurements. We also do a lot of pH and EC testing for the soil media, so the students will learn how to test pH, EC in the soil or whatever media you're growing in to make sure that the plant is on track and where it should be, that their EC is not getting too high or pH isn't getting too high. And that also helps students to determine if they look at a plant and think, oh, maybe it's deficient in a specific nutrient. They would go in, take a test for pH, EC, and that would kind of help determine what that deficiency might be, or it might just be a problem with the pH, and that specific nutrient just isn't available to the plant right now. So that kind of just helps the students to troubleshoot and to, correct any problems that the plants may have.
Spending your time here.
Oh my gosh. My experience is a lot different, I think, than other. So yeah, I was in the inaugural class of the cannabis program, and yeah, it was a great experience. We had a lot of exposure to the industry. We learned a lot. I mean, my background is a grower. I've been a grower for large wholesale nurseries for quite a few years before I took this program. And I just thought, hey, cannabis, this is kind of a new, different thing coming up. Time for a change. Took the program, and it was great. It was a great experience. All the professors were fantastic. It was kind of cool because we kind of got to be a part of setting up this facility as well. So when we came in, we were the first ones to receive, our first set of 50 clones, and we kind of started from there. So these are actually all babies from all of those original clones. The students have actually also dabbled with doing some breeding, so we've actually pollinated some flowering plants and gotten some seed from that as well. So some of those we have seeded throughout a couple of the different semesters, so we kind of have created a new cultivar as well, which is kind of cool as well. So yeah, so what I do here is, I take care of all the plants, everything, make sure everything's running as it should be. But I also do deliver a couple of the different labs. So I also deliver the crop methods lab and a production science lab right now, which is a lot of fun. So crop methods is more of your growing techniques, propagation, things like that. And then production science is a lot of figuring out the environmentals and elemental feeding and fertilizers and that kind of thing. Yeah. Like we'll show students even how to set up irrigation lines, how the pumps work. How to troubleshoot. So what if I have an irrigation problem? What if my pump's not working or I've lost pressure? How do I fix that or anything? So we'll go through all of that, show them all those different things. We even talk about sanitization, because in the cannabis industry that's very, very important as well. So we'll talk about all of that as well. I don't know, IPM is a big part. As you can see, we have all of our sachets on our plants. So IPM is very, very big in cannabis, because you're very limited into what chemical sprays you can use on the cannabis plant. So Sebastian Jacobs, he's our entomology IPM teacher, and he's right on top of it all the time. He's taking care of all the bugs here. Knock on wood, we've never had a problem with insects, so yes.
Yeah, hopefully it stays that way.
Hopefully it stays that way, yeah. It's great growing indoors like this, because you can really, really control your environment. You're always on top of your environment, what it's going to be, so it's great, yeah.